What's up, everyone? I'm Virginie from Better Music, and this is my podcast, Better Minds, a place where we will get to be ourselves and talk about life, our struggles, our health, and of course, music. Thank you so much for listening. Welcome to the first episode of my podcast, Better Minds, and I am here today with singer, songwriter, and producer, êMIA.
Hello!
Hello, it's been forever.
It's been really forever. Like,
It's been
years.
Yeah, maybe 3 years or maybe
3 years.
because the last time you came to Paris it was in
2022.
Yeah. Crazy.
Crazy. I think like my phone was showing me pictures of that time and I'm like, oh my gosh, like to me it feels like yesterday. But
Me
it's been
too.
3 years.
It's been forever. We had such a good time.
Oh,
Missed that.
me too. I will be coming back at some point. I can feel it in my bones. Like maybe in the next, I'm gonna put it out there. I want to come back like next summer. That's like my goal.
So how are you?
As of right now, I'm doing good. It's been a lot. A lot has changed in my life, especially within the past 4 months. Like I feel like life has changed so much, but also like I feel very much at peace with like everything that's happened. I think like I'm about to start this like different part of my life.
New beginning.
A new beginning. And I'm excited for that. I feel like it's something that is me too. And I feel like being out here has made me really love like creating again in a weird way, which makes sense. Like when there's less like stimulation, like all of it is just happening up here. So I feel like I have so much to say and I feel like I can hear myself say it. And it's been a weird time.
Amazing.
In a good way. In a good way.
Yeah, in a good way.
In a good way.
Super excited for you.
Thank you. But I just rambled. How are you doing? What's new?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Not much. I'm just focusing on this podcast like a lot now. Because I
That's so cool.
need
What
something
made
new.
you Okay, I was gonna say like what made you want to like do a podcast?
I was thinking about it, but I wasn't ready. So then I talked to someone. She was like, "Why don't you create a podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah, I had this in my mind for a while, but I don't know."
Yeah.
And then I got this mic for my birthday. I was like, "Oh, okay, let's do it." So here I am, and now I'm really focusing on this because, the music blog is good, but it's kind of boring now. I just needed something else.
I totally get it. And first of all, your blog is never boring.
But it's boring to me because it's just the same shit.
That's true. You deserve to evolve.
Yeah,
Like
I
your
needed
art.
that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this blog for like, I don't know, 10 years maybe. Because it had different names, but yeah, I've been doing this for like forever.
Listen, I remember Kiss Red days. Are you kidding me? I was there.
And there was something else before that. It was just a Tumblr.
Oh my God. You didn't tell me you were a Tumblr girl.
I was back in the day. But yeah, this is how I started. So now I'm just like, it's time to evolve.
And I think like podcast is perfect. I feel like the world loves we love podcasts.
Yeah, everybody
it's like the hip thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what? Let's do this.
Let's do this.
Yeah. So we both created our own music community online.
We did. We're such
for me it's like
girls.
100%. Like everybody. I met everybody online through my blog and everyone else. And then we met in person, but I just met everyone online, like all the people I worked with from the internet. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Like, I feel like people get that now, especially post COVID. Like people understand that you can literally just message anyone, but I feel like you knew that before any of that. Like you knew that you are not limited to like the local scene. Not that there's anything wrong with like local music scene, but I feel like I don't know, like you already thought um way more like broadly than that.
Yeah, because it all started on YouTube for me, and then MySpace. I would just reach out to every artist I liked. It was so natural. I didn't look for French artists, only American artists for some reason.
How did you discover music on YouTube? Like
Okay.
what was the music discovery process? Because I have one that I think is hilarious, but I'm curious as to what music discovery before algorithm was like for you.
Because YouTube was new back then. I think I started watching YouTube. It was like, forgot the year, but I wanted to watch more videos from Gavin DeGraw.
Did you say Gavin DeGraw?
Yeah, DeGraw. I love this guy, and I wanted to watch some live performances. And I was like, okay, this is YouTube now. And then I would just type songs I loved, and I would just add cover. So it would be like Brian McKnight, whatever song cover, and I would find, because I needed soul singers.
Yeah.
This is what I was looking for. So this is what I did. And then I would discover some guys mostly. And then I would go on MySpace, find them, and reach out.
Oh, that's amazing.
So like, this is how it started for me.
You were A&Ring.
Already. I was like 15, 16.
The Brian McKnight covers. Like, that's awesome.
And then I found people on MySpace, like different artists. And this is how I started promoting artists. I was 16, 17, something like that.
What would be your like opening message? What would you say to them?
Oh, dude, I was such a fan. So I was just like, hi, love your music, love your song. And that was it. And then they would be like, thank you. But back in the day, they would always answer. They would always be so grateful. And not today. Just kidding.
Kidding these days.
Yeah. But yeah, it was like that. And I would just message them back and forth, and I would keep discovering more artists.
Wow.
And then I started working with a guy, helping him promoting his artists. And then I started my music blog because I wanted to have a place for artists. And here I am today. That's the short version.
That's so cool. And so then you would message everyone on like MySpace, and did you just kind of like migrate as like people's main platform shifted? Obviously, like after MySpace.
I remember that was MySpace, and then Facebook, and then Twitter. Yeah, I discovered more people on Twitter than. Yeah, interesting.
What's your favorite? Like, what do you think was like do you think there's been a golden age of music discovery?
Yeah.
Yeah? What was like the best like platform time period, you think?
For me, it was YouTube. Like when you remember those Bieber songs.
Yeah.
And then you had êMIA. Remember her?
Oh my God. I know the exact êMIA cover. It was the Justin Timberlake one.
Yep. I used to watch that. The video was so bad, but the songs were always so good. Well, the great covers and great voice. And I was impressed.
It was so cool to be like, it's there can't be anything but star power because there was no production. Like
this is what I loved. It was so real, and I miss that because usually today you don't have this pure You don't hear these pure voices now.
People aren't as vulnerable. People aren't like, even on like TikTok. I think there's definitely range in TikTok for sure. I do every once in a while stumble across something that I think is very raw and truly off the cuff, but I think like no one is that brave to just put their phone down and sing on their toilet without anything. Like just like, after like one take, one go, no external mic, none of this, like not even using like the Apple headphones with the little mic, like no extra gear needed, like phone, speakerphone mic, and all you have is just like presence and like the tiny little expressions that you can get through a video like that to feel connected to the person. And yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't want to be like too negative and be like it'll never be like that again, but that was all of YouTube. So I like 100% feel you on like being so inspired and so connected to the people who were coming up during that era.
Yeah, that was
that definitely
so
made
beautiful.
me want to be a musician.
Oh,
yeah,
crazy. So how did you get started? Like working with people online? First, you get to sing, write your songs.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Okay. So I feel like YouTube was equally as, I think it was the starting point for me too, because at that time, I think I was in late elementary school, early middle school. In my head, I was waiting to turn 16 so that I could audition for American Idol. And I was like, I already in my head, because I'd seen so many of the episodes, I was like, I already know what songs I'll sing when I make it to these rounds. I always knew they did a Beatles week. So I'm like, I know what Beatles songs I'm going to sing when it's like my turn to be on the show. But like, obviously turning 16 took a long time. And in the meantime, YouTube happened. And then I was discovering like the Biebers and the Esmes and like literally also just David Choi. I remember I was like,
there was Tori Kelly, Passion, AJ Raphael, all these Asian guys.
Yes. Oh, Kina Grannis.
Yeah, I love her. Yeah,
I love her. And I was my girl was Marie Digby.
I remember her.
Yeah.
I love
that girl. So I think I was like, wow, like actually screw American Idol. Like I'm going to be a YouTube star. And at the time, I think my dad didn't let me make my own account. He was very like, do not be on the internet. But he did let me post under his YouTube account. So the first videos I made were under an account called @Vile, ATVILE, which was just like a random set of letters that were like my family's initials. And so it just became like my artist name, but it was just like my dad's username. And so I would post like my covers and stuff. Actually, my first video was a video of me singing a Mandy Moore song at my piano recital.
Oh, wow. Which song? Only Hope.
We're like, on the count of 3. Yeah, my first video was only Hope followed by Furley's.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, and I think like maybe after like a month, it got like 1,000 views. And I was like, this is it, you guys.
Dude, I want to hear you sing this song now today on the piano. That would be sick.
You know what? I will. This is a destined conversation because I was literally thinking about this song like yesterday. I was like, what was that song that I loved so much? It was Only Hope. It was my go-to song. My first video on YouTube, and also like middle school talent shows. I was singing that song all the time. Chills. Anyway, so that was like kind of the beginning. And without even knowing it, the more like videos I posted, like it got, just because YouTube was YouTube that back then, like it was pretty easy to get views. And my mom was the first person who had the idea to have me, because we were like big fans of K-dramas before K-dramas became cool, before it was easy to get K-dramas with English subtitles. She was out here like torrenting stuff, like just like doing like the craziest stuff. And we would get super like attached and obsessed to some of these shows. And there would always be like some piano ballads, some like soundtrack. And she was like, you should sing these songs. And I'm like, I'm not gonna like sing in Korean and get butchered on YouTube. Like people weren't as vicious back then, but they were mean. So I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. But she was like, well, then why don't you just like sing the English translation? And obviously, like nothing is translated like in a way that sounds good. So I would like read the translations, and then I would write lyrics to the song. And that was like my early form of songwriting, because I would get the vibe of what the song was trying to say and then just be like, well, I'm just going to write whatever I think would be a real song. And so I would write it and make sure that it would fit the original melody of the song in Korean and post that. And my claim to fame was people would ask to use my lyrics, and those covers went viral. So not mine. Yes. So there was one song. It's still like, it cracks me up because every once in a while I will get a comment on this video. It's a 15-year-old video and people will be like, listening in 2025. And I'm like, okay. But it's like a song from, I think the drama's called You're Beautiful. And the lyrics I wrote for that English version, there is a version out there with some girl singing it with my lyrics. She did ask. Everyone who's ever like used my lyrics has asked and like put me in the description. But that video has over 1 million views. So now I'm like, but I mean, there is like, I'm very proud of it now. Before I used to be hella bitter because I'm like, well, why is it why am I not viral? But I'm like, wait, like
You brought that song.
I wrote it. I did.
Yeah.
I did write it. And like 13-year-old me was onto something about, and you know, the lyrics aren't that good, but like something about it still made people feel very connected to it. And I think like that was gateway drug to maybe I should just write my own songs. And so I would write like every once in a while, put like an original song out there, but it wasn't until like high school. And I think I was like kind of following the career trajectories of the Marie Digneys and the David Choi's, and they started writing their own original songs. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is something that people can do. This is something that I can do. And so, this is like getting so long, but basically, like after growing like a YouTube community, because of that, I, for some reason, stumbled across like the YouTube channel of this kid that was also from Madison, Wisconsin, when I was living in Wisconsin in high school. And he was a rapper, and I didn't think he was really good, but he posted like a vlog of going to Grammy camp. This like Grammy Foundation funded camp in LA, and he had like a selfie with Rihanna or someone. And I was like, what is this camp where you're like meeting famous people? And I like read up on that. And then I was like, well, if this guy who has really like mid sounding rap songs, like if he could meet Rihanna, like I totally could do this too. And so I applied. I didn't tell my parents, but they got a phone call and they were like, what is this? They were like, who is this? What did you apply to? And I'm like, oh, it says camp. And I was like, oh my God, my life was like that one Hilary Duff movie where I'm like, Dad, please let me go to this music camp. It was Camp Rock, basically. So I begged them to let me go. And I think they were like, okay. They were solid. Like, I gotta say, I think it was like, might be like an immigrant Asian parent thing, but I'm like, they didn't let me do anything for like the first 17, 18 years of my life. And they were like, okay, she really wants to do this one thing. And it's a big one. And I cashed in. I didn't go to any sleepovers or like birthday parties my whole life. So I could go to LA for Camp Rock. And because of that, I like was like, oh my God, music could be a career. And I wrote a song there that got me into music school for college. And it's funny because I'm like, my connections in college, it really was just like a way for me to like see myself as like a musician, because up until then I was still like, I'm just like a high schooler that has a YouTube channel. And like going to college, I'm like, no, I'm a real musician. It gave me permission to like post on SoundCloud, which I realized like I could have just done that in high school, but I feel like the environment of going to music school and like saying that I am a musician made me feel like, okay, like maybe I could like, post songs on SoundCloud. And the real truth of this, I wonder who's going to listen to this, but I really just got connected to the SoundCloud community, which is how I met Charlie, how I met Stan, aka Sadco, how I met Elizabeth, Polar Youth, all these people that I still like am connected with and I work with semi-frequently today is because of like the random stuff that I was posting on SoundCloud back then. And I was only doing that because my boyfriend at the time was a big like not a big SoundCloud producer, but that was his world. Like he like made beats and stuff. And to me, like that felt so distant and so cool. And me singing on those beats was like my opportunity to make music on SoundCloud. And from those collaborations there, like everything that happened afterwards is from that. Like I think like now it's like kind of a really common thing for pop artists to collaborate with electronic producers and do features and stuff. But that's where I started. Like I don't even think like I really understood what it was to like be my own artist, because I think all of my initial interactions with like collaborations came from like just stumbling across people on SoundCloud. So that and then from those people I met other people who I didn't interact with in real life, and that's the start of my internet community.
Wow, beautiful. And they were all from Europe, most of them?
Yes. Yes,
So,
actually. Yeah. And I think about like, I'm trying to think like, everyone was from Europe. Everyone was from France, Spain, Belgium. Yeah.
So we did the opposite, because I would only reach out to Americans, and
And it was so funny. I felt so cool too. I was like, oh my God, like I'm so global. And I like, and it just, oh my God, it's so funny. Even the mic that I use, even this mic, the reason why I think like, honestly, because I'm like I've listened to those old demos that I did back then. They are bad. Like the writing is bad, the singing is bad. I didn't know how to like do anything. But the mic was really good. The mic that I borrowed from my ex and I never gave back. I did eventually give back, but I definitely used it so much. Like the audio file itself was like pretty clean for something that I recorded in my dorm room. So I really think that all these producers who are also like 18 years old, I think they were just like glad to have free vocals that were clean. And they did not care that I was very pitchy and I didn't know how to comp my vocals, and it was dry. It was like dry vocals, nothing on it. Just me and the mic. And yeah, just like the accessibility of that and the fact that SoundCloud was so popular and you could get so many streams and followers so easily that it felt
true.
Oh yeah, there was no real like barrier to collaborate with anyone. And I think like because the stakes were so low, like Spotify was a thing, but it felt like, oh, like SoundCloud, you post it and then it's just there. Like there's no waiting, there's no distributor. It was just so quick and easy. that it didn't feel like such a big deal to post an original song. So I loved that time, honestly.
Do you miss it?
Yeah. I do. I think I don't know. I think like the internet is really awkward right now because there are moments where I'm just like, I love the internet. I love that we can witness humanity in this way in these like 7 seconds, and people are hilarious and people are so clever with how they showcase a very universal experience in a funny way. But then there are moments where I'm just like, we are doomed. We are doomed. It'll never get better. Music all sounds the same, and
So
I can
true.
tell that this artist doesn't even care about this song, and they're just trying to push it. Like, and I'm just really like cynical about it, and I just go back and forth. And that's why my screen time is like 10 hours a day. And that's why I have friends on the internet.
Yay!
Yeah.
And we met in 2019, I think.
Yes. And
With
it
the
was
song
because-
Secrets.
Yes. With the song Secrets. It's all because of Elizabeth.
So it's been years. And then I did a feature with your song All I Do, I think.
Yes. And then
Yep.
you did the full review of my EP.
I did. And then we worked together on Bet You Left It Out.
Yes.
Damn, we
Feels
did a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. Yeah, I did an open letter. Oh my
Oh, you
gosh.
did
I'm
on the song
crazy.
Selfish.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh.
I love those days because I discovered a lot of cool artists like you, Kelly Jane Carly, who else? Devin Kennedy,
Mm-hmm.
Dana, Brooke Alex, all these Nashville
Yes.
artists.
Wait, I want to talk about how like you helped me
With
with
Dana.
yes.
How you pronounce it? Yeah.
Yes. And I actually there was also some other like
Katie Jane Carly.
yes. Like I have like a couple of collaborations that truly only happened because of my connection to you. No publisher needed, guys. Like all you need is V. And I remember like part of it was like I was going to Nashville and I wanted to like set up sessions and stuff. And so that's how I had like your suggestions. And I did like, it's funny because I did 0 sessions in Nashville. All of these sessions that I had with the Nashville artists that you suggested to me were all on Zoom. It just so happened that like, I still just ended up working with the Nashville artists in my bedroom in New York.
I love that.
Yeah, and I worked with Dana, and also
You did something with Brooke.
yes, I produced. Brooke was my like first production cut. I've never like produced another song for another artist. So Brooke Alex, and then I think I did a session with Hannah Traeger. That was because
cool.
you suggested her, and then Taryn as well.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yes. I did. Yeah, that was like at least 4 artists. And it was all like I reached out to all of them being like, here's the dates that I'm in Nashville, and they were all like, we're actually not available, but we could do Zoom. So 100% of those sessions were over Zoom.
Crazy.
I know, right? Which is so funny. So I think like
Everything online.
everything's online. And I think it's so funny because I'm like, I'm not a big like in-person session.
Yeah, I was
Like,
gonna ask
thing.
you. You don't like it?
It's not that I don't like it. I just think there has to be certain circumstances that would make me feel comfortable. Because I know like the typical industry model is like everything kind of feels like a weird first group date kind of thing where everyone's just like, and I'm just not as good as that because I'm so concerned about making sure everyone in the room likes me instead of like focusing on the song, or I just I can do it. I definitely can do it, but I always feel kind of weird afterwards. So I try to avoid it unless it's with people that I already feel connected to. And it's a double-edged sword because some of my closest friends I met through these like weird interactions, and like it's because I think we innately have like this chemistry that allows for me to like the in-person session, but it's just not the kind of lifestyle that I really enjoy. And I think like maybe it's because I just spent so much of like my early music making days kind of very separated. In my like process of collaboration is so separate because I like the distance. I like receiving a track and then singing to it and then receiving something back and then changing it based on how I feel it's like growing. And I like that time and distance. I think like my probably beyond just like the human pressure of being around other people and navigating everyone's like reaction and their taste is like, I think the fact that we are sitting in the same room for anywhere between 1 to like 4-ish, maybe more hours is like, I think there's this pressure to like the song so that we can all leave, that it doesn't become the song that it needs to become. Like there's no breathing room, or there's just like, I don't know, there's pros and cons. You get the lightning in a bottle feeling when like the flow is going, and so people are like back and forth like coming up with lyrics and melodies, that becomes the magic. But then we lose the space. I think like it's hard to give the song space, and I think getting so used to the song always having space. Like there's so much time between sending an acapella and receiving version 2 that the thing that sticks really sticks, and the thing that doesn't work is like very, very loud and apparent. Whereas I think like if you're sitting with the song in a room, I think it's easy to get attached to the things that are holding the song back. So I feel a lot more assured in how good a song is when we don't make it in the room together. I might be wrong about, that making that process creating the best possible song, but it's just kind of how I feel good about it.
Yeah, I feel they would be like, oh, let's create a smash, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like, I don't know. And then also there's just like this innate care when you're doing something online, because it's like, you kind of have to be like, all right, I don't know, like, because you're already working on it by yourself, I think there is a lot more responsibility with each party than it is when you're just all in the same room. And there's not like a clear delineation of like who's doing what. And I think like knowing like with Charlie, like knowing like Charlie is going to do X, Y, and Z, and then it's my job to do this, and he needs me to do this, and the next part of the song will happen once I do this. And once he adds this, then I'll know what I'm going to write for the bridge or something. It's just such clear tasks that feels really nice versus like being in the same room and being like, I guess we need to finish something, and not being sure like who's doing what, or not having the space to do it. I don't know. So this is a conversation about my own like preferences and collaboration. But I think that's why I've always leaned towards basically all of my collaborations. It's very, very rare that I have a release that's a collaboration that actually I think it's never happened before. I've never had a collab release of a song that I worked on with someone in person. The only thing I can think of, and it's not even like a collab release, it's just us making a song, was I made a song with Charlie when I was in Paris, all that. Yeah, so that was a song that we at least started in person. And that's like the only thing that I can think of like a collaboration like that was like we did this in person. Other than that, like I like the space. I like the long distance love letter back and forth.
I would like that too if I were an artist.
Yeah. And I'm just like, give me some time. Like, I'm not good at creating something good on the spot. And I like to be bad. I like to write bad stuff by myself and then send you the version that I feel really good about. And
it works for you.
You know, luckily, European bedroom pop EDM producers also love being alone. So
That's true.
It really works in both of our favors. Like they also don't want to be in a room with me.
That's amazing. I love that.
And it's funny, like, I think because of how like frequently and how confident I am in like being able to just maintain a working creative relationship online in just like in the producer, artist, songwriter space, it definitely gave me the language to do that for everything else too. So what started as like just like, oh, like I want to make music with someone online, it became like, okay, how do I find someone to direct my music video? How do I find a makeup artist? How do I find a choreographer and all of that? And that kind of like, I'm able to just like look them up online and interact with them and create some sort of relationship with them. And then, you know, if possible and needed, like meet them in person. It just, I felt like, I just had this muscle of like, it's possible. It's possible to get to feel close to someone through internet interactions, that it makes the ask of, hey, can you do this for me? Potentially free or extremely cheap. It makes it less of like a random question if you're able to do that. And I think like I have only been able to do that because of how like successful the interactions were in the SoundCloud music space. And it doesn't always translate, but it felt like, well, if I could do that there, then we can do this here. And that's also how I met so many people that I've made like visual art with for like my music videos, my photo shoots and stuff. That was, I believe, is a branch from my approach to the music industry, like doing everything online.
Wow.
What makes you trust someone you've only interacted with online?
I guess good communication. I need to talk to the person like for a good amount of time and see if he or she is a good person. I just feel it, but I need to have a good communication. For me, communication is everything. And if the person just doesn't really talk or doesn't really reply or say anything, I would just move on. But if it's someone like you, you know, who likes to talk and ask questions, the right questions, and who actually listens, then I will be like, okay, I can trust this person.
I feel that.
And just someone who cares.
Effort.
Just not all about them, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I did with most people, I guess. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. I guess it's actually probably way simpler than we probably think. Like it's just like your humanity just has to show in some way.
Yeah.
Like it needs to feel equal. It needs to feel like the conversation is moving forward in some way.
Yep.
I definitely think like, I think everyone has the ability to do that. And I just think that some people are more aware that that is important than others.
Yep. Yeah. That's us. That's why we get along.
Do you think there's been more, well, actually in general, how often are artists themselves reaching out to you versus like a team person? And has that changed now versus a couple years ago?
I have less artists now, but more PRs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's still we still have some artists, but yeah, I have more PRs now. Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
So it feels good when I have an artist reaching out. So I'll be like, oh, still there.
Wait, I'm curious. Do you feel like, because I think I kind of have this fear too, where I'm just like, like, I wonder if it's endearing that I'm the one reaching out, or if it just makes it seem like I'm less established.
No, I actually love it. Because I like, to have that connection with the artist. And I don't really care if you're an established artist or not. I only care about the music. I like it. Yeah, I like it. So keep doing that. How did the internet shape your career?
How did the internet shape my career? I think it allowed me intimate access to certain forms of a career that I thought I wanted. And I think like I was able to, I think before YouTube, before Instagram, like music artists were just like put out music, right? Like it just kind of came out. And I think it allowed me to see at least how and follow and track an artist to see how they gained their traction, how they got attention, how they moved throughout the internet in order to create an image and brand that felt more polished throughout time. I think it gave me the pieces and allowed me to try my best to create a map for myself, even though to this day, I really have not seen any artists that I think, well, probably everyone can say this, but I've not seen anyone who has had like a through line that felt similar to mine, or felt like something that I, with my own background and my own skills, could recreate. So I think that the amount of people that I could follow on the internet, it was like I can pick and choose the aspects of things that I liked from so many different artists that I admire. Yeah, to stitch myself like a go-to booklet of, things that I believe is meant to be a part of how I become the artist that I want to become. So for a while, it started off with like, I think when thinking about YouTubers, I was obsessed with Sarah Close, and I
think I remember her.
Yeah. And I think like what struck me was like, to me, I was like, well, I'm a girl who sings on the piano and I play. And I think there was something about, I think like the way that she did it was so simple. And I think like I was always like kind of comparing like, why are my videos not as like strong as hers? And like, I think like having people to compare myself to that felt like they were on like the same level, I guess, as I was, it felt easier to learn, because I'm like, well, I'm comparing myself to someone who is clearly understands how to do this better, but they're closer to me and where we are in our career. And the to-do list feels more manageable. It's less like, otherwise, like before it would be like, well, Taylor Swift is playing arenas and I write songs. And there's like this huge gap of like, well, I don't really know what you're supposed to do in order to get from A to B. But the internet is like, hey, this is also a girl who sings and plays piano, but she is extremely picky about what songs that she sings. She doesn't just pick any sort of popular song that just came out and then post it, which was what I was doing back in college. She's very picky about the songs that she is covering, because it is a reflection of her own artistry. She has this very, very consistent look in how her bedroom looks, and like she's always like wearing this like head, like it's just the brand identity. It's something consistent that people could latch onto. That was something I didn't really understand until watching her videos too, and just like kind of things where I'm just like, it was just easier to learn because of that. And my idea of how my career could be expanded because of all that information. And then I think like, I'm trying to think of like the second thing. I think also because I like had it in my head that, well, if I was able to get X amount of streams from this like one random song that I did with this producer I've never met, I've exchanged like 30 DMs with, if that was enough for me to get X amount of streams, it was really hard, not in a negative way, but I think I came, once I started kind of having conversations with quote unquote music industry people who I think on paper have like the title and like the real connections. Once I was discussing and having conversations with these people, it felt like it was hard to believe them in anything. And because I'm like, well, I mean, explain this, like, how did I get all these streams and I didn't have to do anything that you said? And I think like it kind of created this like mistrust of the innate system of the music industry, but in a positive way. I think I have approached my career ever since as like, the only thing that's real is whatever happens to me. Like I am my own proof and my own evidence. These people who have never created a song or put their own art out there, they don't know what it's like to live through every single step of creating something, releasing something, living with it, watching people respond to it. Like these people don't know these things. And the fact that I was able to get from no song to song out on the internet and have all these lived experiences, I think like I just move through my career without much reliance on more, I guess, like like big music industry cosigns. I was like, what's the word? I feel like I for better for worse, like don't chase after those cosigns as much, because I don't think that I need it. And I don't think that, at least in everything that I've ever done that I'm really proud of, none of those like connections or cosigns have ever been as powerful as a lo-fi bedroom pop producer in Spain just liking my writing. Like that's the only thing that's ever gotten me the streams and the whatever I now feel really proud to have built.
Wow. That was so powerful. Damn. Damn, girl.
But it's true. I'm like, when I think about like I think about like Talk, like the song that I did with Charlie and when he was still doing the Doomoo project, like I still get messages from people being like,
it's a big song. I love it.
It's a big song. And like I still get messages. I played a show in Brooklyn like 2 years ago, and I had someone come up to me and they were like, I've followed you ever since this song, and like every time I'm about to go on a first date or something, like I play this song. And I'm like, so this song not only like it has over 1 million streams, one, and also it led to someone buying a ticket to my show like 5 years after the song got released. Like I'm like that, and that was like nothing. Like that was not nothing, but that was just like, that's just me and my friend making something. Like no one like there's no like machine behind it. I mean, I guess like it was released under Monstercat, so that is like there is like something to that. But even so, I don't think that like a release under Monstercat necessarily guarantees like ticket sales years later in Brooklyn, you know? So I feel like it was all mostly due to the internet connection and the friendship that allowed us to create something like that. So yeah.
Thank God for the internet.
Thank God for the internet.
I don't know where I would be today because, you know, it all started on the internet and it's still going. So
yeah, it's still going. And I think like it's still taking so many forms, and I still like, yeah, to this day, like I can count on my hand like the number of people who I really like met like in person that I work with a lot, but it's not like, even if I like interact with them frequently in person now, like I definitely have like a couple friends that like we create a lot together. It's still like, I still feel like I met them online. I still feel like it's more like they stumbled across me because of Instagram. Like I've never met anyone through like, I don't know, through like a real person thing. I don't think I shine that way. I think I shine better when someone stalks me a little bit. I'm like, please stalk me. Stalk me a little bit on the internet so you just kind of understand like who I am, and vice versa. Like, I feel like if anything, like I like knowing just the context of someone, and then if I meet them in person, like I feel
so much
better.
easier. Yeah.
Yeah, because then I could be like, I really like this. I really like this. You posted this. You posted this and I saw it. And that doesn't make me a crazy person because it's a public profile. Like, I saw this, you posted it, and I really like it. And I think it's way better that way.
Yeah.
So I love the internet.
Me too. We all met on the internet.
We all met on the internet.
It's going to be the title of this podcast.
And oh my gosh, I like the last show I ever played in LA was a house concert that I threw at my friend's apartment. We met in college, but I only went to LA because my friend Marion Carmel, who I met through Charlie, was coming to the US. Like, I wonder if it was for her first time going to the US, and she's going to LA. And it was in December, and it really was like I had my flight prices notification on, and there was like a random Spirit flight that was maybe $100 round trip from New York to LA, which is like crazy. I mean, it is like just going on like a bus in the sky basically, because it's such a dicey flying experience, but I don't know, I'm down for that. And I was like, oh my God, like, I mean, $100 to see my friend who I've never met in person and like is way cheaper than me, like going to Southeast Asia. Like, I need to do this. And so we did that, and we were like, well, let's make everything worth it. Like, let's put on a show. And in my head, I'm like, it's such a headache to like navigate like venues and stuff. And at the end of the day, like, we would lose money, and all our friends would have to spend money. Like, there's just like all these things where I'm just like, we can do this. We can throw a party and it'll be super fun. And then she knew like two other artists that she had never met in person. They've also only been friends on the internet for years. So we were all meeting each other, except for me and Sam, his apartment. We were all meeting each other for the very first time at this show. And like, we created this party, and it was packed. It was packed. It was so fun. And I just like, probably one of the proudest things I ever did, because I felt like people were like, this was like really special. And like, I think there was some like, there's this alchemy, this magic of like you're watching four people who've only ever like called each other at most. And now we're drinking beer in someone's backyard in LA and playing music and just having a really great time. And yeah, it was just like such a great memory. And like I think about those things where I'm like, this could be like, this was just like one party, one little idea that we threw together and it just happened. And I think like what can happen with just like the dedication, the encouragement, and the excitement from internet friends. Like this could be, it was a lot of work, so I don't know when we would do that ever again, but I feel like this could be something that we do like whenever we just happen to be in town like together again, and that would be really, really special. And that's something
beautiful.
Yeah, that's something only like real connection and distance can really, it creates that anticipation and that preciousness of that moment. So I really I think that interaction made me really believe in the power of internet friendship and how just because it starts on the internet doesn't mean that it has to stay that way. And in fact, the fact that it starts that way makes the IRL portion like even more important
and powerful.
Yeah.
It just feels like you met like real good friends when you meet them in person. I think that's so beautiful. I love that. And I miss that. Because, when I travel to the US, this is what I do. And it's so crazy to me. This little French Asian girl traveling to the US and meeting all these people that she actually knows.
And you did that. Like you did that.
Yeah. That's fucked up.
No, I totally, I feel that too. I think it's really fucked up too. I think like it's an attestament to your bravery. That sounds so corny, but it is though. It's like you being like, I belong everywhere. I think that's kind of the ethos of like really creating big relationships on the internet. It's like you really like believe, like you have to believe in that. You have to believe that you can create any kind of connection and that you are able to bring yourself anywhere and meet anybody.
Thank you so much for listening to that first episode. I think all of us created connections through the internet. That's my case. That's êMIA's case. I have met so many people through different platforms online, and some of them are my best friends today. And on top of that, I have met so many artists, and I have built my whole music career through the internet, which is so beautiful and amazing and crazy to me. So yeah, let's keep doing that and let's be good humans. Until next time, take care of your mind.